Hi, loves, and welcome to the With Love Always podcast, a podcast to help you live the life you were created for. We are your hosts and your friends, Bree
and Marissa,
and we're so grateful you're here.
We pray you listen and leave feeling more inspired, encouraged, and uplifted.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. We are so grateful as always that you are tuning in to the Friendship Today. For today's conversation, we really wanted to invite you guys in to ask us any and all of the questions that you guys were curious about and just get to have a little catch-up moment like you guys are just sitting at the table with us and we are just catching up on all things life. We asked you guys over on our Instagram to leave us a couple of questions and you guys faithfully did. So we selected just 2 handfuls of questions that we are going to answer in today's episode. So without further ado, let's dive into today's Q&A.
So the very first question is, what does our day-to-day look like now? Do you want to kick it off?
Yes, I can kick it off. So we just did a whole episode sharing that we actually both quit our jobs, which is a very big life change and new season for the both of us. But I would say for myself in this new season, I am pursuing content creation, creative direction, and doing all of these wonderful things for myself. So my day-to-day does look very different, but I do have a lot of pillars for my new work day. And so for me, what that looks like on a day-to-day basis is in regards to work. Of course, I'm always like spending time with Jesus. I'm working out and doing all those wonderful things. But in regards to work, I am every single day producing content. So I'm making sure to post on all my platforms. I'm usually recording content. So I do a lot of work with different brands as well as just have my own set amount of times I want to post on TikTok a day, on Instagram a day, being very engaging on social media. So I have like my posting schedule, I have my filming schedule, I have my email outreach. So I would say in regards to my new work day, I, just being who I am, have established kind of like a new routine for myself. Every day does look different. Some days I'm spending all day filming. Some day I'm spending all day editing. Some days I found myself on set doing things with other people. So every day is looking a little different, but in the best way. But I feel like for myself in this new self-employment season, I've honestly hit the ground running pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And I've just jumped in straight into working. So it's so funny. And I think I might have mentioned this in a previous episode, but a friend that I was like sharing this news with, who also works for himself, mentioned, he's like, sometimes you turn in your 9 to 5 to work 24/7. And so it's so funny how in this new season, I've actually found that I'm almost working more than I was working in my 9 to 5, but it's only because I'm so excited for the things that I'm doing and creating and pursuing for myself. So yeah, I would say just a lot of creative time is what my days are looking like for me.
Which is so wonderful and so fulfilling. And I think that's the true testament. Like when you are working for yourself, working towards your passions, it's like, it doesn't feel like work. So you kind of just jump straight into it.
Yeah.
And you almost have to force yourself to stop at some point.
Yeah, I have to do that a lot. Like I can be up late editing and I'm like, okay, Brie, like cut yourself off. But I get so excited or so inspired by something that God gave me and I want to like share in a reel or I want to post about or I want to encourage others through, speaking out loud. And I have to like slow myself down and be like, okay, we're going to bed. But yeah, so that's a little glimpse of what my days look like. I think for myself, I do thrive off of structure when it comes to my work. And so I've been still very regimented. I'm still like going to bed early, waking up early, doing things in a very honoring way to like adhere to a schedule. So I'm still working essentially. I mean, I'm more lenient with myself because I'm reminding myself there's no pressure to start work at a certain time because I get to choose that. But I would say I'm pretty faithfully still starting my work day at like 9 or 10 a.m. Yeah. Just because I think it's easy in this season to lose all structure.
Yes.
And I think for myself, like I said, I'm flourishing by giving myself structure, giving myself designated to-dos each day of the week. So yeah, that's a glimpse into my day.
Oh, I love it. Mine is really similar. I worked mostly remotely prior, so I tried to kind of maintain, like, my morning routine is exactly the same, except I let it extend a little bit longer.
As you
which
should.
is nice.
Yeah,
And, like, I
same.
have more Jesus time, and maybe I throw in reading, like, a book that I want to read in as well. And then I normally start my workday closer to like 10-ish, and I've been trying to do all my work outside, which is
That's lovely.
been so nice. And I don't think I've shared this yet because I was still trying to just like pray through everything, but I am focused on transitioning to a totally new like career field space in kind of like holistic health, functional medicine. And so I right now am learning. I am back in school, so I'm taking online classes, which is so crazy to be back doing classes and homework and taking little quizzes and all the things. Feels so funny, but it actually has been so fulfilling, and I was just craving learning something new, and very much this was solely from God. Like, I did not dream this idea up at all. It was not on my horizon 6 months ago. It truly was just something God gave me, and I felt so much passion to just run towards that. So figuring out exactly what that's going to look like as far as a career. Like I said, right now, my days are spent mainly doing classes, learning, writing, all of that. Eventually, I do think I want to share in some capacity on social media, some of this stuff, just to make the information like more accessible that I'm learning. That's a huge goal of mine. So we'll see how much I share. I'm not a big social media person, but as of right now, like, I just want to be so faithful in learning as much as I can, becoming an expert in this field. And that's what my days have been looking like. It's been so much fun.
I love it. And I think the beautiful gift of this season, I imagine for both of us, is almost, I have to remind myself, even though we are both someone who are people who desire to like implement structure, is that if there's a day where I'm exhausted or I want to slow myself down even more, now there's permission to do so.
Yeah.
You know,
a lot of listening to my body, very much so, which is so honoring.
100%. Like yesterday was Friday, and I typically work on Friday still, but I was just tired. And so I gave myself permission to, you know, post everything that I intended to post that day, but I didn't film anything that I had on my to-do list, and I just rested all afternoon. And in that, honoring myself is like a totally new permission that I'm giving myself, which is really beautiful. So I'm very grateful. Jumping into question number 2, how to cultivate a healthy relationship with working out, food, and fitness. So this is actually such a beautiful question, and I would love to do an entire episode on this particularly. I feel like I have so much of what I could say, but I think having a healthy relationship with food, fitness, your body there's so much depth to that, and it can be such a complicated relationship. But I would say, in summary of what I would really encourage is, when it comes to nourishing your body and it comes to moving your body, I want to see what like I can do optimally in my body. I want to see what it would look like if I were to steward my body to the highest degree and see truly on earth as it is in heaven in my body. God gave us our body to be healthy, to be able to run, jump, do all these wonderful, beautiful things. And what would it look like if I optimized my health in a way that is actually a form of worship? And so when I'm taking really good care of myself, I'm nourishing my body well and enough, and I'm moving my body in a way that is honoring and is not hard and heavy, but is just moving in freedom and in delight that I'm able, I'm reminded, one, that it's such a gift to be able to even move and to nourish my body in the ways that I do. But also when I'm like clear in my mindset and I'm clear-minded and I'm taking care of this temple, it actually allows me to be closer to the Lord. I find when my mind is preoccupied with thoughts of feeling insecure in my body or uncomfortable in my body, or I'm not nourishing my body well, or I'm, not working out, or I'm overworking out, your mind gets really busy and full, and for myself, it gets really chaotic. And so I find that when I really look at movement and nourishment as a form of worship of God, how can I honor my body to the best degree where it's like not preoccupying my mind, but it's actually clearing my mind so I can be more connected to my God? That is what really encourages me to have a healthy relationship. But like I said, there's so much I could say, but I would say ultimately looking at it as a form of worship, not as a form of just self-advancement. Like, not just working out and eating healthy to look a certain way or to feel your best for summer, but to feel my best in my relationship with God, to feel my best when I'm talking to other people and I don't have room to be preoccupied with thoughts about my body or my insecurities. That's my personal motive.
I love that so much. I feel like for me, when it comes to fitness, I keep it so simple, and it is truly just, is this fun and do I look forward to doing it? If I do, that is how I work out. If I don't, I like fully ditch it. And I think it's just because I found different styles of movement that I really love and that my body craves, and it feels more energized afterwards. And so that is just like what I pursue, is like honoring my body in that way. And same with food. Now I'm to a point where I only crave food that feels good, digests well, fuels me. And I just feel so thankful that it's not something I have to schedule or think about. I just genuinely want to feel good and have fun. And I think once you go through the learning curve of finding what that exercise looks like, finding the foods you can make, the places you can eat at, you realize that it becomes a lot more effortless and you don't have to think about it or track metrics. It just can be something that's like enjoyable and a delight. Because I think that's what God intended for it to be, these moments of delight and just kind of a break from work and things like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, next question is what to do when you don't know your purpose. This is a big question. It's one of those questions, I hear this repeated so often. I think we put so much pressure on ourselves. And I think the biggest thing I would tell the younger version of me is just that you do not need to know your purpose, because one, it's being developed, and two, it's going to continue to change and evolve. Even now, what my purpose was a year ago, what I was called to career-wise, is totally different than what I'm doing now. But that doesn't mean that I wasn't able to love and serve God in both of those ways. It's just sometimes God, wherever we're placed, he will use different skills that we have or that we didn't even know we had. So I would say to remove that pressure to honestly figure out your purpose, the thing I wish I would always focus on is like, what can I do in this stage of my life? Like, where can I learn and where can I serve other people? And then as you're doing that, just keeping track of like, is this life-giving or is this draining? Like, is this something that I really love doing? Like for me, I find it so fulfilling to sit one-on-one with women and to be with them. And that happened in my previous job, and now it's going to happen in the future with like helping women with their health. It looks so different, but I always knew, whether it was in the podcast or in that, like I love being one-on-one, teaching people and connecting and serving them in that way. And the rest is kind of up to God with how he's going to continue to develop that. So I think just making note of, oh, these are the little light bulb moments of things that fill my soul, or these are the things that people tell me I'm especially gifted at. And it will all come together. Like those things will be revealed in their perfect time. And it's such a journey.
I agree completely. I think just looking at the unique way that you love the world and the unique gifts that you carry, that is going to absolutely lead you to your purpose. And I think sometimes the word purpose, we associate a little too much with like a very specific grand scheme concept. Like, I think we think of purpose as if that has to mean like a business idea or starting a podcast or, doing all these things. I think those are parts of your purpose. Like, I can say confidently that the podcast is part of our purpose. But if I were to break it down, where the revelation of that tangible next step came from was in the evaluation of what am I gifted at? Where does my heart set on fire? And I and Marissa were able to evaluate that through the knowing that we both love to speak and we love to encourage. And what is a tangible way we can do that to magnify our love to the world? And that came through a podcast. But you can't arrive to that conclusion without first arriving to the revelation of what you're good at. And so I would say, simplifying it, just really look at the unique things that you love and you enjoy that are so natural to you, and your purpose will just develop from there. Like, the tangible acts will develop from there, but you have purpose. Like, if you're existing and all you did and all you're doing is just simply loving people, whether it's in your job, in your day-to-day, your family, I mean, love is the ultimate purpose, I believe, in this world. And so if you're doing that alone, you already have purpose, and God will unveil what the specific next steps or avenues or dreams or ventures you're meant to go on. But yeah, it's more simple than I think we believe that it is.
That's so good. I feel like when you were saying that, it almost made me think that we don't need to find our purpose, because God gives us purpose when we're put here on earth. So as long as we're loving other people and loving Him, He will use everything else in its time. Mm-hmm. And so you don't have to be like searching so hard to find this great revelation. There's so much purpose in your existence today and tomorrow and this week. And I think it's just being so faithful in that.
I agree. Next question is how to rely on God in moments of darkness. So this is a really deep question and really intentional question. And I think for myself, when I reflect on some of the darkest moments in my life, I truly don't imagine a world in which I would have been able to be set free or would have been able to navigate those moments apart from God. I think in my darkest moments, it's created a deep desperation for more of God. It's created a dependency on God of just like looking to Him when I can't look to anything else in my world, when I can't even look to myself, when sometimes my own mind is really dark, or when I feel like no one around me can uphold what I'm going through. I think allowing the darkness to make you desperate for Jesus and make you desperate to want to be praying and going to the secret place and seeking Him in those really deep moments. And yeah, I think it's one of those things that I know in reflection of my darkest moments in my life, I truly don't know if I would have ever been able to have made it through apart from God. So yeah, I feel like God really has been the only answer for my darkness. And I even think about darkness in my life and really hard seasons of my life before God. And I feel as if, like, apart from my faith, those dark seasons prolonged for a lot longer because I didn't have God and because I was looking to myself. And so yeah, I would say allow the darkness to create desperation more than anything.
That's powerful. Yeah, I think I would just say reminding yourself that God is a healer and that it's in those moments of darkness that we lean on Him the most. So I think removing expectations that you have to heal yourself, you have to feel a certain way, like just come before the Lord every day in prayer, cry out for Him, and He will so faithfully show up and be with you and provide you with the strength for that day. And you will grow so much. Like, He will bring beauty from the darkest moments. That's always been a theme. Mm-hmm. And it's hard in the moment. And I don't want to invalidate that because it can be so painful, but just know He is with you. And just, yeah, the more pain you feel, the more that just tells me that I need to depend on him in deeper, new ways than I even knew I was capable of.
Yes. And reminding yourself too that God's heart breaks for the things that are breaking your heart, breaking your world, breaking you down. And when you really believe that God is such a tender father and he wants to be your comforter, he wants to capture every single tear, and he wants to hold you tight and remind you that there will be hope beyond this darkness and there will be light to come.
Yes.
It's like the most encouraging person to have in your life. Allow him to be this all-encompassing father, Jesus, a friend, a savior, like a listening ear, every single thing that you need in this season. He is, and he wants to be.
Mm-hmm. Okay, next question. I love this question. It's Christian book recommendations.
I'm going to let you answer this completely because, to be honest, you guys, I've read some good Christian books, but I don't feel like I have like a ton of recommendations. So take it away, Marissa.
Okay, I am trying not to just list every book I've ever read because there's so many good ones. But the top 3 that come to mind that I feel like are very transformational. Number 1, The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry by John Mark Comer.
Oh yeah, that's a classic.
Anything he writes, such a good book. Even giving it to people that aren't believers, like it's just such a good, healthy way to approach living life, just about slowing down and being so intentional with your time. The next one, this was like the turning point in my faith from when I went to like knowing about God, loving God, to then really challenging myself to follow God and follow him into scary, unknown places. And that was Crazy Love by Francis Chan. Such a good, convicting book. And then one that I feel like is a really fun, easy read that you could like read this summer by the pool. I would recommend it to someone who maybe is like new to Christian literature. It is Love Does by Bob Goff.
Oh yeah,
it is such a like fun, like you will be smiling, laughing, reading the book. It's so approachable. So I feel like that's an easy read. And then I would say favorite authors that I didn't mention, like if you want to go deep and learn about a specific subject, Timothy Keller and John Piper are some of my favorites. They're so knowledgeable. So when I'm going through a very specific season, I will turn to one of their books that's on prayer or something specific that I need more insight on. So hopefully those are helpful. And oh my gosh, I love that you asked that.
Yeah, those are all such good ones. Even though I haven't read from all of those authors, I recognize all of their names. So they're really good. Okay, next question is reasons why we left our jobs. So we just did a full episode on this, but in short and in summary, I really know for myself, it was just time that God was asking me to surrender my former blessing in order to enter a new one. I feel so confident that God is calling me to full-heartedly pursue the things that he has laid on my heart between content creation and the mission and purpose of sharing and inviting my life on social media. And when I was evaluating my life and where my capacity was going, it was going completely elsewhere, and it wasn't being able to be devoted into this purpose and into this mission. And so I wanted to give space and opportunity to reinvigorate my creativity and completely go all in, devoting it to what God was calling me to. And in order to do so, I had to surrender my job. And so, yeah, that's the summary, the spark notes. And like I've mentioned in our full episode, it was something I prayed about for a year before coming to that conclusion. But when God really just affirmed that it was time, I knew it was time, and he prepared me to step into this new season. So yeah, that's why I left.
Mine is so similar. I would say I took my last job knowing very well that this was going to be for a season, and I had no idea how long that was going to be for. And it honestly ended up being a little shorter than I expected. But even now, I'm like, the timing was so perfect. I'm seeing so many changes in my life. And then in the church that I worked for, things that are happening with them. And it's a new level of growth that they're entering with new people. And I just knew it was the close of that season. And it felt so much peace, so of the Lord. And then, like I shared, I felt God towards the end of my job call me into a totally different career path that I had not seen on the horizon. And so I wanted to be so faithful to do that and pursue that in his timing. So when he gave me the green light, I was like, if God is preparing this, I do not want to miss out. Like, I'm going to faithfully say yes before I even know what that looks like. So yeah, truly just God. That is the biggest reason.
Yes, it's so good.
Okay, this is a fun question. What are our favorite clothing brands? Miss Fashionista.
I honestly was looking at this question and I was like, dang, I feel as if I'm almost not the best person to ask this to, because if any of you guys have been listening for a while, you may know that I thrift a majority of my closet. So I like can't even remember the last time I've bought directly from a brand. Like everything I'm wearing right now for those watching is thrifted. So I don't know. I would say a majority of my closet is vintage or thrifted.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like anytime I ask Brie where she got something, she's like, oh, I thrifted it.
Yeah, it's like even down to jewelry sometimes. Like, yeah, so I honestly am not the best to answer. I think jeans, Levi's, that's just like a classic.
Yeah.
But like all my shirts, oh my gosh, I'm like visualizing my closet and they're all, so much of it is just a thrift find.
Which is so authentic to your style. Like if you love just very unique, one-of-a-kind pieces. And I even feel like with jewelry and other things, you'll get them at boutiques or like smaller businesses. So it's really neat because they truly are one-of-a-kind. For my style, I am so simple, so casual. I am the epitome of just like denim and a t-shirt almost every day, sometimes a sweater. And Levi's mostly for pants, but I also do love for my tall girlies out there. Zara makes abnormally long jeans for whatever reason. So I will get jeans from there. And then normally t-shirts I get from Aritzia for Fit It. They have really good basics. Like I'll do their Fit It long sleeves, Fit It t-shirts. This is from, I think, Gap, actually. They have some good sweaters and stuff. And I love Free People and Madewell for accessories or more like special pieces to kind of, because I'll keep my basics very simple and then I'll accessorize or throw like a sweater or hat over, and those are my favorites.
I love that. I would say the one brand that I might have the most of in regards to my dresses that are really fun and unique is for Love and Lemons.
Oh,
and that's also because one of my best friends works there and I've like gotten her discount on things. But though, like they have the most lovely dresses that are so fun and floral and colorful, which is so my style. But yeah, I would say my style, and Marissa just said it, I pursue wearing things that nobody else will have. So that's why I don't have the best recommendations.
It's funny because when we describe ours, it's so the opposite. Mine is like something that I can wear in 10, 15 years. Yeah. Which you could still thrift it. You can as well. But mine's like as basic as I can get away with. And yours is as unique and one of a kind.
Yes. And as like eccentric and different. Yeah.
Which I love.
Yeah. But tips on how to heal through heartbreak. So in light of my recent breakup being almost 5 months out, I would say truly it's going to sound like so cliche, but just giving yourself time, like give yourself the time to process and to really relive your relationship, relive the things that were hard about it or really beautiful about it. And I think something that's been really redeeming for me is fixating my eyes on all of the things that I gained through the relationship. What are the ways that God expanded your perspective, encouraged you, showed you what is available, even if it's not with this person? What are the lessons you learned, or I don't know, the things that you can take into your identity or into the future that will bless you or bless you as a future partner or bless your future partner within your next relationship. And so I would say, yeah, fixate your eyes on the blessings and the beautiful gifts that came from the relationship. Also take the time that you need to process the things that were maybe challenging of the relationship. And I would say the biggest thing when you're healing through a heartbreak is don't just try to jump into something new. Like, give yourself the space to be on your own and don't immediately think that you're ready to like re-emerge into the single life. Like, allow yourself to be a little sheltered and hidden by the Lord. I know that that's what this past season of life has looked like for me. I have not been quick to jump into going on other dates. I haven't been quick to allow anyone else to pursue me. I'm like, no, God, I really want to just take some time to almost like recalibrate myself before I enter into dating again. Yeah. So that would be my personal encouragement. But yeah, give yourself the time. It's going to look different for everybody. But yeah.
Yeah, I think the only thing I would add, and this is through observing friends and seeing how they heal, I think there's a tendency, which is so normal after a breakup, to have a lot of anger and resentment. And I think those emotions have a place. Like, I would say feel all the feelings and let yourself go there and process all of that. But I think it's so key for you to move on and truly heal. You have to also accept like all of the good things, accept the love you felt and were extended, and let yourself feel how painful that is and how vulnerable that was, and that you don't have to resent this relationship or this person for you to heal from it. I think that's actually the healthiest sign, is like when you are in a good place is when you know that you can truly wish this person the best and you can appreciate everything the relationship was, what it wasn't. And then I would say from that place, you can carry forward. But until you get to that, just really give yourself the space, permission, time with the Lord, time with friends to just grieve and feel all the feelings, because it's so painful. It is like, it's such a hard thing to go through, and it is fully grief. And so I think having space and kindness for yourself in that is just so key.
I agree. That is actually such a powerful point. Don't allow heartbreak to equate to just like unnecessary resentment, because that is going to just weigh you down so heavy if you are just thinking the worst of this person. And if that's like your motive towards healing of like, oh, they're the worst, like hate them, hated this relationship. And given everyone's circumstances are so different, so I can't speak on behalf of what everyone's heartbreak is. Like, there are, of course, circumstances where maybe more of a spirit of heaviness is over the person that you are leaving. But I think it's just our like natural human defense mechanism to almost like paint someone else in a bad light, because we think that that like propels us forward, but actually that will set you back. And so when you can actually like shower your perspective of someone with compassion and be like, just really seeing them for the good, beautiful things that God created in them versus where they fell short in the relationship, I think that will really propel you in your healing.
Yes. Okay, final question is our recent favorite hobbies.
Gosh, I feel like I don't know if I picked up any newer hobbies. I feel like my hobbies are pretty tried and true. I would say, you know, editing content. Well, I don't know if that's what I want to say as a
maybe
hobby.
Like shooting content.
Yeah. I would say shooting content, journaling, something that I actually did recently. Where was I doing this? Oh, I was like coloring something recently. I don't know.
Oh, how lovely.
And honestly, this is what I was doing. My friend just ran a marathon and I created her marathon day poster. When I tell you guys, I spent like 2 or 3 hours coloring this marathon poster because it was purely therapeutic. It made me realize I feel as if I should like get into coloring just for the like childlike joy, like therapeutic.
I could really see that for you.
Yeah, it just was like so fun and special. I could not stop doodling on this poster. I mean, I have to show you too, Marissa. I was like, wait, this really unlocks my childhood joy. This really unlocks my childlike joy and wonder. And I feel like it tapped into a part of my creativity. So maybe that's something I should explore more. I used to paint a lot, actually, like just watercolor painting or like a little acrylic painting. I would do it for fun when I was in college, and I haven't done that in a while. So maybe that's something I should look into.
That's a really good one. I love that. My hobbies are pretty much the same, like anything outdoors or doing a lot of reading and writing right now, as always. I would say the one hobby that I have not picked up yet that I want to. My husband just became certified in sailing.
Oh, yeah.
And we have been trying to go. It's so hard to find places where they let you rent sailboats. So we are like actively looking, and he wants to teach me. And I love the lifestyle of sailing. Like the thought of us taking kids out one day and all just going out and sailing, like it would be our dream to own a sailboat.
That is sweet.
And we just love being on the water in any capacity. So hopefully by summer, I will know how to sail, and that will be a part of like a really fun hobby that we get to do.
I love that. That is such a like distinct hobby, like so much fun. I would say another hobby of mine is I do love hiking. I'm like a huge national park girly, and so I do love like hiking and camping. I don't do it like crazy often, but often enough to where like I do plan very distinct trips throughout my year. So I would say I'm a pretty outdoorsy girl for the most part.
Love. Okay, guys, for Love Notes, we actually had one question that we wanted to finish with, and that is, what's something we're excited about in this next season?
Okay. I mean, so many things, but when I think of something particular, next month is my birthday. It's almost exactly a month away, which is so special. And I've been praying for a while that God would reveal to me where I meant to go, if I'm meant to go anywhere. I had it on my heart to do a little solo trip, and I've been praying for honestly a couple months, but more specifically within the past couple weeks, that God would make it really, really clear. And through a series of truly signs and wonders, I feel like God had made it very specific and very clear. And so I, just as of this week, booked a little trip. I'm going to go to Hawaii for my birthday.
Ooh, that's so fun.
And I'm going to be there for about 10 days. And I'm going to celebrate my actual birthday by myself. And then I'll come back to LA, and I'll, of course, likely do a party, because knowing me, I do want to do it with my friends. But I'm really excited. I'm still figuring out some details, but it'll be my first time going to Hawaii. I've never been.
Wow, love Hawaii. One of my favorite places in the world.
Oh my gosh, I'm beyond excited. So that feels like such an exciting thing ahead. I mean, one, celebrating my birthday, but also just the God story behind how I arrived to that conclusion and how I arrived to booking that trip was really, really special and very unique to me. So I'm excited to see what God has in store.
That sounds so incredible. There's like not a specific event that I'm looking forward to. I think I just really am soaking up this season of having just time to rest, time to dream, time to focus on just like stepping into a new career and all the things that come with that, and not working for a company. And there's so much freedom in that. And even I feel like it's made me more available to friends and to serve people in different ways. So I think just having extra capacity has been such a blessing. So I've had the best last month, and that is what I'm most excited for. Is just, it feels like a season where I get to just dream and be with the Lord, and that feels so kind, and I've been craving that for years, and I finally feel like I'm there. So I'm just trying to soak in every single day and just am full of so much gratitude. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
I love it.
Those are all of our questions. Thank you so much for sending them in. They were so fun to answer. We love you so much, and we will see you in our next episode. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much for listening. We pray this episode was encouraging and life-giving. If you found it valuable, please share it with a friend, leave a review, and subscribe.
And be sure to follow us along over on Instagram at With Love Always Podcast. Signing off with all of our love always, Bree
And Marissa.